I've brought you in something you may want to take home and use tonight. Bar soap from 1896.
Yellow Kids soap. That is funny. And yeah, it definitely looks aged.
It's seen its better days.
Sean Connery went to the promotional shoots for From Russia with Love, and they didn't have the gun he was supposed to shoot with. So by chance, I guess the photographer happened to have this Walther in his car. So he went and got it, and thus became the famous picture that everyone knows from the movie.
Okay, we're jumping right into a classic Pawn Stars debate. The guys are arguing over tough guy actors, Humphrey Bogart, John Wayne, but Speaker 63 calls out Speaker 68 for having a man crush on Steve McQueen. He denies it, but they roast him for copying McQueen's style. The banter is hilarious and sets the tone. This is the family dynamic we love. They're already ribbing each other before the first item even comes in.
Probably the best man actor there was Humphrey Bogart.
Bogart was pretty good.
John Wayne was good. They were the tough guys.
Of course, there's Steve McQueen.
We all know you have a man crush on Steve McQueen.
I don't have a man crush. I just thought he was a pretty badass dude.
You have a man crush on him.
Yeah, I have to agree.
A customer brings in a Colt .45, claiming it's the gun that killed Jesse James. He wants $40,000 but says he'd take half. The potential here is insane. Jesse James is a legendary outlaw, so if this is real, it's a museum piece. Rick's immediately hooked, saying, "If this is the gun, that's damn cool and I want it." The customer's confidence is high. This is the kind of high-stakes, history-rich item that makes the show.
This is going to be something cool. It's a Colt 45 from the 1800s. This gun is the gun that killed Jesse James. It's almost like a drum roll moment, isn't it? Jesse James has to be one of the most interesting outlaws. He supposedly would have been a bad guy, but I think the American public kind of embraced that Robin Hood image.
The seller explains the provenance. His dad bought it from a famous collector who got it from a Wild West medicine show doctor who got it from Frank James himself. He says Frank James claimed this was the gun. Rick shares the history of Jesse James being shot in the back by Bob Ford. The story is compelling, but you can see Rick's expert skepticism starting to bubble up. He's intrigued but not sold.
So this gun, my dad bought from Andy Palmer, famous gun collector, who got this from Dr. Cornelius, who had a Wild West medicine show. And he got this gun from Frank James, who said, "This is the gun that killed my brother."
Seriously?
And the Old West gunfighters would take a knife and put a notch in for every time they killed somebody.
The seller has old newspaper clippings and a photo of a governor holding this exact gun at a show, touting it as the Jesse James gun. Rick points out Bob Ford toured with the gun, killing Jesse James 3-4 times a week. Then Rick drops the bombshell. History says Jesse James was killed with a Smith Wesson, not a Colt. The contradiction is a huge red flag. The drama is real.
Bob Ford had shows, and he went around the country, and he killed Jesse James 3-4 times a week for years on end.
My documentation is different newspapers, historically back in the 1950s.
Okay.
This is the governor of Michigan at the gun show holding this gun. This is the gun.
Rick examines the gun and finds more problems. It's poorly chrome-plated, obscuring any Colt markings. He says Colt would never do such a hideous job. He asks for a factory letter, which the seller doesn't have. All he has is paperwork saying it toured as the gun. Rick values facts over stories. You can see his disappointment. The seller's $50,000 dream is crumbling under scrutiny. This is Pawn Stars' expertise in action.
This gun would have said address Sam Colt, New York, right on the barrel. It doesn't say that. At the Colt factory, even back then, they had a lot of quality control. It was the best of the best. Colt would have never did such a hideous, terrible job chrome plating a gun.
Cut to a new scene. Rick is excited about a 1951 Chevy convertible Steve McQueen drove in his last movie, The Hunter. Corey and the old man tease Rick about his McQueen obsession again. Rick insists he's not a wannabe, he just appreciates the guy. He's determined to go see the car, saying they can make money. The family's playful dynamic continues. You know Rick is personally invested in this one.
This guy has the car that Steve McQueen drove in his last movie, Hunter. You ever see the movie?
No.
It's a really good movie. You should watch it. Okay, but anyway, we're gonna go buy the car.
Hey, Rick, why don't you just stay here and let me go? I know you're a Steve McQueen wannabe.
Rick meets the owner. The car is sweet. It came from McQueen's estate. Rick geeks out, recounting the movie's plot and how McQueen did his own stunts. He's trying to play it cool for the negotiation, but his fandom is showing. The owner wants around $40,000. Rick loves it, but wants an expert to check for hidden issues. Smart move. He's balancing his passion with business sense. The car seems too good to be true.
1951 Chevy convertible that Steve McQueen drove in the movie The Hunter.
That is sweet. And where did you get it?
It came from his estate. You can hear him grinding the gears and you can hear it running in the movie.
Okay.
My dad has some kind of weird man crush on Steve McQueen.
It's not a man crush. I just think the guy's really cool, all right?
Expert Danny arrives. He confirms it's a 51 Chevy, an everyday man's car originally about $2,000. He praises the solid restoration. The best part? Danny and Rick bicker over who gets to drive it first. Danny insists he has to drive it to check it out, leaving Rick in the back seat. It's a funny moment of pure car guy enthusiasm. They're both like kids in a candy store over this Steve McQueen connection.
You know, in '51, that was when Chevrolet started that campaign, See the USA in Your Chevrolet. They only did about 20,000 of these in a convertible. '51 Chevy was a great car. They were very much an everyday man's car. This was an affordable car. When they were brand new, they were $2,030 in the convertible form.
After the drive, Danny gives his assessment. The car is a rock-solid 8, worth in the low 30s based on the car alone. Then there's the McQueen factor. That extra value is up to Rick. This is the crucial moment. The car itself has a clear market value, but the celebrity provenance is a wild card. How much is that history worth to a buyer? Rick now has the info he needs to make an offer.
Ran through these gears. Rick, you should feel this. You'd really like it.
Yeah, whatever.
This car was in such nice shape. My job was easy today.
So what do you think it's worth?
Ain't a lot to gripe about with this car. The throttle felt great, transmission felt great, the clutch felt great, the steering felt great. I couldn't say that the car is a 10, but it's a rock-solid 8 for sure.
Negotiation time. The owner sticks to $40,000. Rick counters at $35,000 cash. They eventually meet at $37,000. Deal! Rick is ecstatic driving it back, saying, "I am in heaven. Now I really feel like Steve McQueen. He's living the dream." But we all know the old man, and Corey will give him hell for spending company money on his toy. The personal victory is sweet, but the business pressure is coming.
It's in the neighborhood of 30, just the way it is. I think Steve McQueen's got to be worth a little bit more.
I'll give you 35 cash.
I put it down on the money where I kind of needed it to be. Can you come up a couple grand?
What, 37?
37?
I think it's a fair price.
Meanwhile, Chumlee is checking out an Atari Centipede arcade table. The seller wants $500, showing off her high score. Chumlee tests it and loves the classic game but notes damage. He offers $200. She counters at $400. Chumlee jokes, "How about 201?" She declines, and no deal is made. It's a classic Chumlee segment. Fun, nostalgic, but all business. He walks away, happy just to have played a classic game on the job.
Pretty dope.
It is. For being a 1980s cocktail table centipede game, it's in really good shape.
Are one of these high scores you?
They all are. 146,081.
Whoa.
Yeah, that took a long time. Way back when, you couldn't game at home. You had to game in the club. So I would go to the clubs, and that was the game to play.
The old man is on Rick's case to sell the Chevy immediately. Rick suggests putting a sign on it, but Corey says they need a proper auction for the right buyers. The old man grumbles, telling them to look on the damn internet. The tension is classic. Rick wants to enjoy his purchase, but the family sees it as an asset to flip. The struggle between passion and profit is the heart of the show.
Well, in a hurry, we could put a sign on it, put it in the parking lot, and sell it for $5,000 real quick. This is like a special car.
In other words, he wants to drive it for a while.
No, we just have to put it in an auction where the guys who buy these kinds of cars will show up.
There's auctions coming up, but they're not coming up for months. He did this on purpose.
The final showdown. Rick says he found an auction in Fort Lauderdale in a couple months. The old man moans about the wait, joking that Rick will start thinking he is Steve McQueen and need a wig. Rick insists he won't keep it. This running gag is perfect. It encapsulates their relationship. Endless teasing but underlying respect. The car's fate is set for auction, but not before Rick gets a few more drives in. Roll credits.
We're just driving the car around until we take it to the auction.
I found an auction in Fort Lauderdale, Grandpa.
Fort Lauderdale. We don't have to go all the way to Timbuktu to sell the damn thing.
Well, this auction sold a bunch of Steve McQueen stuff before. They're gonna really publicize the car, and I think it's the best one to put the car in.
The episode opens with a huge claim. A customer says he has a train bought by Johnny Cash. Corey Harrison is immediately impressed, saying if you list the top 10 coolest guys ever, Cash is on there twice. We cut to the intro, then see a sweet 1971 Cadillac Eldorado. Corey reminisces about owning one, calling it like driving a lazy boy. The owner says it has a 500 cubic inch motor. The nostalgia is strong already.
You take a list of the top 10 coolest guys ever, he's on the list twice. That brings back memories. What is this, 71?
72.
Sweet. Yeah, this thing is big, drives like a lazy boy.
Corey takes the Caddy for a spin. He loves it, saying it drives like a dream with no complaints. He notes they were front-wheel drive and sold over $40,000 a year back then. He's clearly impressed, but is already thinking about the resale price. This is the classic Pawn Stars formula: genuine appreciation followed by the sharp business calculation. You can tell he's mentally figuring out his offer as he drives.
This is sweet. Back when this was made, the Lincolns and the Cadillacs were competing, and everyone basically agreed that the Cadillac was best. They were always really high-line cars. That was the neat thing about this car. It was front-wheel drive, which gave it more traction and everything.
Time to negotiate. The owner wants around $7,000. Corey says he can maybe get $4,500 out of it and offers $3,100. They haggle back and forth, eventually settling at $3,500. The owner says he won't lose the car over $100. Deal. It's a smooth, fast transaction. Corey gets a classic car for a decent price, and the seller is happy it's going to a good home. A solid start to the episode.
This thing runs. I'll give you that. It runs like a champ. So how much do you want for this thing?
I'm looking to get around 7,000.
Realistically, I can maybe get $4 grand, $4,500 out of it. I'll give you $3,100 for it. It's a fair price.
It's not one of the 60s Cadillacs people dream.
Now for the main event. A seller brings in a 1932 Lionel train, claiming Johnny Cash was the first owner. He has a letter explaining the chain of custody from a repair shop. Rick is fascinated but rightfully skeptical. He points out Johnny Cash was born dirt poor in 1932, and his family likely couldn't afford this. The seller wants $15,000. Rick's doubt is palpable. He wisely calls for an expert. The drama begins.
I have a train that was bought by Johnny Cash.
All right. Lionel 260E, first owner Johnny Cash, December 1932. So Johnny Cash was the first owner of this?
Yes.
One thing I always say about Johnny Cash, if you take a list of the top 10 coolest guys ever,
Rick explains his big problems to the seller. The letter is from the buyer, not the seller, and Cash's poverty makes the story unlikely. He calls in toy expert Johnny. Johnny arrives and geeks out, confirming Cash's well-known passion for trains, even doing a campaign with Lionel. He examines the train, noting modifications and restoration. The plot is thickening. The expert's knowledge adds serious credibility to the investigation.
sounds a little high. I'm really fascinated with it, but I have some big problems here. First off, we have a letter written by the guy who bought it, not the guy who sold it. How do we prove this was Johnny Cash's? And the other thing is this is a 1932 train. Johnny Cash was born in 1932, and he was born dirt poor. His family could not afford this.
Expert Johnny delivers the first valuation shock. He doubts Cash owned it as a kid due to the cost. He says a restored train like this is only worth about $500. If it was original, maybe $1,200. But if you can prove it's Johnny Cash's, it's a game changer. He's never heard of a Cash-owned train on the market. He offers to make calls. The seller's $15,000 dream is on life support.
I mean, there's definitely been some modifications here. Look like they probably pulled some parts of some other trains and put this together.
What do you think?
I doubt that he owned this as a kid for the simple fact that their family didn't have too much. This train would have been maybe $14, $15 just for the...
A quick break with Chumley. A seller has a 1920s kerosene chicken incubator. Chum gives a fun history lesson on incubators, but sees no large market for collectors. The seller wants $550. Chum offers $75. They haggle, but Chum won't budge over $100. The seller walks. It's a classic Chumley no deal, a nice palate cleanser between the heavy-hitting items. His final line about selling it for more elsewhere is perfectly cocky.
This.
I'm an estate liquidator, so I have clients all over the country, and one of our clients found this buried under some hay in an old barn.
So you thought, hey, I'll give it a shot.
Pretty much. This was an old kerosene-fueled chicken incubator. I've never been a farmer, so I'm not entirely sure how this thing works.
The verification result is in. Expert Johnny made calls and reached Tommy Cash, Johnny's brother. He verifies the train was owned by Johnny Cash and was meant to be a restored gift for his son, John Carter Cash. This is massive. The provenance is confirmed. Johnny then gives the new value, $2,500 to $3,000. It's a game changer, but not a $15,000 game changer. The truth is both exciting and disappointing for the seller.
It took a lot of phone calls, but by 6 degrees of separation, I was able to make contact with Tommy Cash.
Okay.
And we got some feedback on the item. I sent him some pictures, and we're able to verify that this was in fact owned by Johnny Cash.
Negotiation time for the train. The seller, now knowing it's real, still asks for $8,000. Rick counters at $1,500. He argues it doesn't have the right celebrity association to be worth a fortune, comparing it to John Wayne's hat. He finally offers $2,000 firm. The seller accepts, saying he'll use the money to buy his kids a train.
You never know what's gonna happen, you know? You make a few phone calls, and then the next thing you know, you're talking to Tommy Cash. And I was able to hold the train that Johnny Cash owned. I mean, this made my day, and it still gives me goosebumps talking about it.
I'm saying $1,500.
About 8,000.
It's not there. It's just not. You know, I mean, if this was one of Johnny Cash's guitar.
New item. A seller brings the ornate Buddha statue, asking $10,000 because he saw a similar one online. Rick is intrigued yet, thinks it looks Tibetan, and notes the fine details. The seller admits he got it as a housewarming gift and knows nothing about it. Rick's skepticism about the price is clear, but his curiosity about the artifact's origin wins. He calls in an expert professor. This feels like another deep dive.
This Buddha that I'm trying to sell.
I thought Buddha was fat.
There is the happy Buddha, which has a really big belly, but anyone who becomes enlightened is a Buddha. So there's been hundreds, if not thousands, of Buddhas.
Expert Phineas arrives and is blown away. He confirms it's a Tibetan Buddha, likely from around 1750. He identifies it as an Avalokiteshvara figure with 10 heads, listening to prayers from 10 worlds. He says due to the Chinese invasion of Tibet, such pieces are rare. He's seen similar auction for $10,000 to $15,000. The artifact's cultural significance and age just skyrocketed its value. Rick's initial hunch was right. This is special.
This is amazing.
It's pretty damn cool. I was thinking it's Tibetan Buddhist.
Wow, Rick, I'm getting impressed. You're absolutely right. I'm so glad you called me to see this one because I've been to Tibet. I was in Lhasa and in the Potala Palace, and I saw some very old photographs there.
Time to deal. The seller holds firm at $10,000. Rick counters at $6,000, then explains if he pays $10,000, he makes no profit at auction. He makes a final offer of $7,500, taking a serious shot. The seller accepts, happy because it was a free gift for him. Pure profit. Rick scores a rare, centuries-old cultural artifact. The expert insight turned a wild guess into a calculated, high-stakes purchase.
I want 10,000.
I'm thinking closer to 6.
No.
Okay. And he just said I can get maybe 10 grand at auction. Okay. If I give you 10 grand, there's no money to be made. I will give you 7,500. I will not give you a penny more. That is the best I can do.
The hilarious ending. Chumlee is playing with the Johnny Cash train. Corey yells at him, "It's not to be played with like a toy." Chum and Rick mock Corey, saying he never played well with others as a kid. Corey takes the train home to protect it. It's a perfect funny callback to his excitement over the item, showing the blend of serious collecting and childish glee that makes the show work.
Just checking this train out.
It was Johnny Cash's train. It's not to be played with like a toy. You're gonna break it, Chum.
It's a toy train. I let Chumlee play with the damn train.
Thank you,
He
boss.
will break it. You know, wait. I paid thousands of dollars for this thing. It's a very old train.
Be careful, it's an expensive train.
The episode teaser is packed. We see a Cromwellian helmet, a James Bond pellet gun, and a wild Mustang. Rick says the helmet could save you in battle. Then a seller mentions the gun Sean Connery held resold for over $500,000. The energy is high. We cut to the intro with the classic, "You never know what's gonna come through that door" line. This preview sets up 3 major diverse items. I'm already hooked. hooked.
Thing is definitely cool. It could save you in battle.
I've got something I think you'll be interested in.
Oh, wow.
That gun that Sean Connery held resold for over $500,000. I wasn't quite that much, but.
First item in the shop, a seller has a Cromwellian lobster tail helmet from the 1640s English Civil War. Rick nerds out on history, explaining the conflict between King Charles and Parliament. He calls the helmet high-tech for its time, with leather straps for support. The seller asks $3,500, but says he'd sell for $2,000. Rick is intrigued, but you can see his expert skepticism forming. He's loving the history lesson.
Well, it is a Cromwellian lobster tail helmet.
This style of helmet was popular in England during the English Civil War. It happened in the
1642.
1642. You're
to
good.
51.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Your history.
Today I've got a 1640s Cromwellian lobster tail helmet.
Rick's suspicion surfaces. He points out the key flaw. The back plate, the lobster tail, should flex and be made of multiple pieces. This one is a single, rigid piece. That's a huge red flag. He politely asks if he can call in an expert. The seller agrees but looks nervous. This is the classic Pawn Stars pivot from excitement to scrutiny. Rick's gut is telling him something is fishy, literally and figuratively.
So how much you want for this thing?
I'd love to get $3,500 for it.
Okay. I have some concerns right off the bat with this thing. The reason why it was called a lobster tail helmet was because this flexed like a lobster tail.
A quick cut to Corey. A seller has an 1800s apple peeler from her grandmother. Corey gives a fun history, saying it was more for commercial cider makers than farmers. It's rusty but complete. She wants $90. Corey offers $50, they haggle and settle at $60. It's a sweet low-stakes deal. The seller is happy to have lunch money. This is a nice, calm moment before the helmet appraisal storm.
Sinclair Scott apple peeler.
Be careful, you might need a tetanus shot after you touch that thing.
I came down to pawn shop day to sell my late 1800s apple peeler. It doesn't come in handy for me. It's in pretty good condition. It just needs to be polished up a little bit.
The helmet expert, Alex, arrives. He confirms it's a Victorian copy, not from the 1600s. He says it's too light for battle and missing crucial leather cheek pieces. As a Victorian replica, it's worth a couple $100, not $3,500. The seller's hopes are dashed. Rick, now armed with facts, offers a mere $50. The seller politely declines, saying he'll keep it. The dramatic fall from potential treasure to souvenir is complete.
Ah, the lobster tail pot helmet.
So my big concern is his tail doesn't flex.
Okay, well, this is Cromwellian. Basically, Cromwell had supporters, they called them the Roundheads, and they were diametrically opposed to the
New scene. Rick heads to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway to see a 2014 Hertz-Penske Mustang GT. The seller says it's one of only 150, with the first 10 being rare manual transmissions. This is number 7. It does 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. Rick is clearly impressed, linking it to the historic 1960s Rent-A-Racer program. The seller wants $85,000. This is high-stakes car buying, and Rick knows he needs an expert.
So I'm on my way down to check this thing out. How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So this is it, huh?
This is it. That's right. The 2014 Hertz-Penske GT.
This is nice. I mean, and it's a Mustang too. It's an iconic car. I mean, this was Lee Iacocca's baby.
Back in the shop, Chumley gets a turn. A seller has a Walther pellet gun used by Sean Connery in a From Russia with Love promo shoot. The seller notes the actual prop gun sold for over $500,000. Chumley hilariously says, "I hope you're not looking for that much, cause I'm gonna send you on your way." He explains it's cool, but not the movie gun. The seller wants $500. The Bond hype is real, but misplaced.
From Russia with Love, huh?
Well, that gun that Sean Connery held in the promotional shots.
Oh, wow. You mind if I check it out?
Sure.
Pretty cool, man. What do you think?
I think you need to wear a tux.
Yeah, I don't wear tuxes, man.
The pellet gun negotiation. Chumley offers $150. The seller counters at $400, then says his absolute bottom is $250. Chumley stands firm at $200. No deal. The seller walks, confident he can get more elsewhere. It's a classic Chumley moment. He appreciates the cool factor, but won't overpay for a niche collectible. The Bond fantasy isn't enough to open the pawn shop wallet this time.
Man,
I think it's worth $500. They're pretty rare.
That's the thing, is I just don't think people are out there collecting this pistol, or they would just be on the market more. I'm looking more like $150.
Oh, I couldn't go that low.
Rick brings in the big gun, NASCAR champion Joey Logano. Joey geeks out over the Hertz-Penske Mustang, confirming its rarity and the significance of it being a manual transmission from the first 10 never rented. He points out Roger Penske's autograph on the dash. The camaraderie and expert validation are perfect. You can see Rick's confidence growing. This isn't just a car, it's a certified piece of automotive history.
The guy has a really cool special edition Mustang that he's looking to sell. I have a few friends that are in NASCAR, and one of them is Joey Logano. He just happens to be in town right now, so I brought him down here to check it out.
What we got here?
It's a 2014 Hertz-Penske GT.
The ultimate test drive. Joey Logano gets behind the wheel with Rick in the passenger seat. Joey says he's always up for that. They plan to open it up on the track. Rick admits he's never been in a car with Joey and doesn't know if he should be scared or excited. The pure joy and slight fear on Rick's face is priceless. This is every car guy's dream scenario playing out on screen.
Earlier, a guy called me wanting to sell me his 2014 special edition Mustang. Everything looks great, so me and Joey, we're going to jump in the car and take this thing for a spin, give it a little test drive. Maybe at like 150, 160 miles an hour.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Let's hit it.
They're doing 150 miles per hour. Joey pushes the Mustang on the straightaways and through the turns, getting dangerously close to the wall. Rick yells, "You know you don't have to get that close to the wall, dude." The adrenaline is through the roof. Joey later says Rick was brave for riding shotgun. The car handles perfectly. This high-speed shakedown is the most thrilling proof of quality you could ask for.
Handles great. We're going around Vegas here, going to 150 down the straightaways. Think he's had this thing this fast before?
I doubt it. We're really doing 150?
Post-drive appraisal. Joey says the car's rarity, manual transmission, and unrented status add value. He estimates it's worth around $75,000. This gives Rick the crucial expert benchmark he needed. Joey even says he would buy it at a good price. The professional driver's stamp of approval is invaluable. Now Rick has to translate that excitement into a hard-nosed business offer. The negotiation is coming.
I was really shocked on how well the car handled. Usually a car that's made to drive on the street doesn't handle well at 150, especially in turns. But $85,000 is a lot of money, so I want to see what Joey thinks.
So, Joey, what do you think it's worth?
I think it's hard to say because it's rare, right? There's not many of these cars for sale, but I think the fact that this is one of the first 10 cars that were built and wasn't rented, it has that 6-speed manual, I think that's got to add some kind of value.
The final negotiation. The seller sticks to $75,000. Rick counters hard at $60,000, arguing the rented versions go for much less. The seller counters at $67,000, then $62,000. Rick holds firm at $60,000 with a guaranteed check. The seller finally accepts. Rick scores an incredibly rare, expert-approved, racetrack-tested muscle car. His final line says it all. He bought a cool car and drove it with a NASCAR driver, all without Corey and Chum there to bother him. Perfect ending.
I'll do 75.
The ones that were used by Hertz that were rented that have like 30,000 miles on them, they're going for $30,000, $40,000. I'd give you 60 grand for it. There's just a lot of variables here. There's not any that I've sold on the free market. It's cooler than the other ones, but you know, I don't know.
All the things you said I appreciate, and they're all valid points.
The episode opens with a montage of highlights: an 1896 Yellow Kid soap bar, a Southern Orphan Association certificate, and the star item, brass duck foot pistols. Chumley jokes about taking the pistols to the gun range to fire them. The energy is perfect. We get the classic intro, then cut to Rick with the soap. The seller explains it features the first comic strip character. Rick is immediately intrigued by this quirky piece of pop culture history.
A bar of soap from 1896.
Yellow Kid soap. It's really, really cool. It was like the first comic strip to really use like the bubbles that come up. But my big problem is no one knows about this.
I found this, and I'm hoping it's worth some money.
This is from the Civil War.
Rick delivers an amazing history lesson. He explains the Yellow Kid comic spawned the term yellow journalism due to a feud between publishers Pulitzer and Hearst. It's fascinating niche knowledge. The seller wants $750, hoping to fund his daughter's birthday. Rick's big problem? No one knows about this. He argues the book price means nothing without a buyer. This is the classic pawn shop reality check. The seller's personal stake makes you root for him.
It's really, really neat and different. It was like the first comic strip to really use like the bubbles that come up.
Okay.
But everything he said was written on his shirt. It was really weird. The reason why they called him Yellow Kid, he was always wearing a yellow nightshirt. His actual name was Mickey Dugan.
The soap negotiation. Rick offers $150. The seller counters at $200. Rick comes up to $175, firmly stating no one else will buy it and he's being a nice guy. The seller accepts, though it's less than he hoped. He jokes about bathing in $1 bills. It's a fair, if unglamorous deal. Rick secures a truly oddball collectible few would appreciate. The seller gets cash for his daughter. A solid, character-driven Pawn Stars moment.
I'll give you $150 for it. You might see a book that gives you a price in it. That means nothing. Can't find anybody to pay that price.
We need to come up a little bit. $200, it's yours.
No, I'll give you $175. No one else is gonna buy it. No one else knows what it is.
Enter the duckfoot pistols. A seller shows Chumley a pair of 18th century brass volley pistols with 4 barrels each, designed for naval officers to quell mutinies. Chumley is in awe, calling them pretty badass. The seller explains their use. A captain could fire 8 shots at once. Chumley, trying to prove himself, is clearly out of his depth but determined. The seller drops the bomb. He wants $50,000. The stakes just skyrocketed.
Oh wow, those are pretty cool.
These are volley pistols that were made for a British naval officer in the 18th century.
You mind if I grab one?
Go right ahead.
I see why they call him Duckfoot. Looks like a little duckfoot.
It does.
Swimming through the water.
Chumley seizes the moment. He says these are the coolest things he's seen and can't let this guy walk. He asks if they fire and the seller confirms. Chumley then makes a wild counter. It could be possible if you let me take these to the gun range and fire them. The seller agrees. Chumley sets a meeting for an hour and a half later. This is unprecedented. Chumley taking the lead on a huge, dangerous item.
Even though I'm not supposed to deal with high-priced items, these guns are some of the coolest things that I've seen come into the shop. I can't let this guy walk. It's time to prove to Rick he's not the only one that can wheel and deal. Do they both fire?
Yes, they do.
So they're both in full working order.
Meanwhile, Corey deals with a woman who found a Southern Orphan Association certificate in her attic. She hopes it's worth $500. Corey explains it was essentially food stamps for the South during Reconstruction, aid for widows and orphans. He gives a great mini-history lesson on post-Civil War reconciliation. His skepticism is immediate, noting such items are forged a lot. He calls in an expert. The historical weight contrasts with the soap's pop culture.
Well, I found this, and I'm hoping it's worth some money.
That's pretty cool. This is from the Civil War. It is interesting. I mean, at one point, there was people in the Senate and Congress and stuff that wanted 50% of all males living in the South to write a written apology for the war.
The hilarious shop dynamic. Chumley tells Rick he's taking the rest of the day off to test the pistols. Rick is skeptical. Chumley insists, I'm about to go purchase a gun. I need to go make sure it works. Rick and Corey insist on going with him. Chumley protests, I'm trying to prove myself. They override him. It's the classic father-son, boss-employee comedy. Chumley's ambition is adorable, but completely unconvincing to the seasoned pros.
Can you be serious for once in your life? I'm about to go purchase a gun, duckfoot pistol. I need to go make sure it works. I told the guy to meet me at the range.
And how much are you gonna buy this for?
Not that much, I'm thinking.
How much are you thinking?
Well, he said 50, but he was just throwing
$50?
1,000, but he was just throwing that number
I'm
out
definitely
there.
going with you then.
No, I got it. Trust
I'm
me.
going with you. Don't worry about it.
I got this. Trust me.
I will meet you guys out there.
Expert Peter examines the certificate. He identifies Stonewall Jackson's portrait on it, calling him General Lee's right-hand man who did the dirty work. Corey adds colorful commentary about Jackson burning towns. The expert confirms it's a genuine donation receipt, not currency. It's in exceptional condition, but not rare. He values it at $175 retail. The hope for $500 is dashed, but the historical cool factor is confirmed.
Well, this is pretty cool. This is General Stonewall Jackson, and he's featured on here, and this is post-Civil War. This was during the Reconstruction period.
I didn't notice that was Stonewall Jackson.
That is.
That dude was gnarly.
Yeah, he was an intense man. He was essentially General Lee's right-hand man.
The certificate negotiation. Corey offers $75. The seller counters at $125, saying, you'd make $50. Corey meets in the middle at $100. Deal. The seller is pleased, saying she'll use the money to help her grandchildren, mirroring the certificate's original purpose of helping children. It's a sweet full-circle moment. Corey gets a neat historical piece at a fair price.
Yeah, and it's not as cool as I hoped it would be either. I'd give you about $75 for it.
Really?
Yeah.
How about 125? You'd make 50.
I'll give you $100.
Okay, done.
Deal? All right, meet me right over there.
Okay, thank you.
At the gun range, Rick admits he was forced to come because he unequivocally do not trust Chum. Expert Alex arrives and verifies the pistols are pristine, with British proof marks, a crowned V, showing they passed explosive tests. The quality is exceptional, the authenticity is confirmed, raising the stakes even higher. Chumley looks smug. The stage is set for the most dramatic test fire in Pawn Stars history.
I was more or less forced to come out to the gun range because Chum set up a time to meet him at the range and test him out. I asked Alex to come down to meet us because I needed a second opinion because I unequivocally do not trust Chum. So what do we got here?
I have a pristine pair of...
Whoa. Well, those are cool. Wow.
Check that out. The test fire. Corey shoots first. The barrels don't all fire at once. They go blah, blah, blah. He hits the target 4 times. Then Chumley shoots and only hits the target once with 4 barrels. Rick roasts him. You had 4 barrels and you shot the target once. What? It's the funniest possible outcome. Rick leaves, satisfied he saw them shoot. The comedy undermines the deadly serious $50,000 price tag perfectly.
All right, there you go, guys. I'll stand back nice and far.
All right, Chum. That is cocked and ready to fire. Corey?
Chum, you're first. That was not what I was expecting at all. Did I hit anything?
Yeah, you got a hit.
The final appraisal and negotiation. Expert Alex values the pair at $45,000. The seller wants $50,000. Corey offers $20,000, then goes up to $30,000 firm. The seller counters at $35,000, saying single pistols sell for $23,000. Corey won't budge past $30,000. No deal. The seller walks, confident he can find buyers. Chumley is bummed but proud he facilitated the appraisal. A high-stakes no deal that still delivered amazing television.
They're the real deal. They're rare, they're really early by a known maker, and they fire. These are not inexpensive pistols. I value them at $45,000.
Okay, well, man, I really appreciate you coming down.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Good luck. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
There's a huge market for duck's foot pistols. I do think it's worth for the shop to purchase them because they're never going to see a pair like this again.
Chumley's final boast to the camera. He says Rick and Corey were impressed and saw how cool the guns were. He doesn't understand why Rick doesn't trust him, declaring, "I am the best employee at the shop." The delusional confidence is the perfect punchline to the episode. He tried, he facilitated an expert review, but the deal fell through. His pride is intact, and we got an incredible segment. Classic Chumley.
30 grand's what I can do.
Sorry, I can't take anything less than 35.
Well, I appreciate it, my man. Maybe
Thank
next
you.
time.
I wasn't able to make a deal today with the volley pistols, but I think that I'm going to have to fend off a whole crowd of buyers once I get them back out there.